Welcome back to Quinceañera Unfiltered, where we ask questions and answer questions about quinceañeras and more.
In an unfiltered fashion.
Unfiltered, please. What we really think about quinceañeras.
What you want.
What you really want to hear.
The truth.
The truth. Can you handle the truth? We'll see.
We'll see.
So today we have some questions that we've been asked, and we're going to go ahead and give our humble opinion about it.
Our humble opinion. Okay. So our question is, do we feed the vendors? Where do your vendors eat? In this case, the client says that they're having a formal dinner, so every table is accounted for. So they just would like some input in regards to whether or not they feed their vendors, and then where to put them if you don't have a table for them.
Do we feed the vendors?
So I feel like this topic is a little complicated. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a vendor, but I feel like it can get a little not conflict, but a little problematic, because we don't want to seem, well, like as a vendor, I don't want to seem like I'm entitled to an area for me to sit, or entitled to a meal at your event. But if you've been working all day long, if I've been with you all day long and you're hungry when you got to your venue, I'm hungry too, you know? And I feel like it's like a courtesy to at least offer, say like, hey, are you hungry? If you know that they've been with you all day, there wasn't a break, there wasn't a time for them to go get something, like I would at least ask them, hey, would you like a meal? And then, in regards to where they're sitting, that personally, we don't ask for much. Just give me a chair. I can put my plate on my lap and eat it there, anything other than the floor.
Well, I believe it depends on the vendor, but I think you don't need to feed the vendor, right? Like you said, it's a common courtesy, but I don't think you need to feed the vendor themselves. Just because of the fact that, you're working there, or it's something that, you're not part of the party, or you're not part of the day and stuff. Obviously, there's a moment in time where the vendor has to eat.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have to do it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's a nice gesture.
It's a nice gesture. At least
Courtesy.
offer it. Yeah. If I've been with you all day, and it doesn't always just fall on, like in this case, I feel like the client is like, what do I do about my vendors? Like, oh my God, I didn't think about that when I was over here in my venue.
Yeah, when especially like those event venues where they're counted for the plates, and so you're paying for people that are gonna eat, and then
per plate
that is expensive. And then some people don't show up, or your vendor doesn't eat it, or whatever, right? And so they're paying, and it comes down to a numbers game,
Yeah.
And I think this is something that we had encountered the other day, that I saw as I was scrolling down through my feeds and stuff like that. That most people view a vendor monetary. How much is gonna cost me? And then on top of that, okay, as you're seeing that the venue gives you a plate, like it's per plate per person, and it's charging you per plate, you're like, well, it's a numbers game. Well, I'm not gonna feed them because it's gonna cost me $200 more to feed those
I'm already
vendors.
paying them,
and I'm already
X
paying.
amount.
Yeah, so they're like, I'm already paying for their service. I'm on top of that, I gotta feed them, and it just becomes a numbers game. Like it's just like people just decide to not appreciate the value of the person and just say, it's gonna cost me, so no, I'm not gonna feed them. And they make a choice like that. In most cases where we have experienced not being like fed, not having a plate or something like that, it's usually not the customer. The customer feels really bad with us. They love us, but it's usually the venue that doesn't provide enough plating, right? They don't. They don't take in, the venue doesn't take into consideration that there's vendors there, and they should have extra plates.
Yep.
Because again, it's a numbers game. How much money I'm gonna spend? How much money? Like they don't account for those extra plates themselves. So it's like everybody's just trying to make more money at the end of the day. But I've been to a couple venues or a couple of venues that we have done, and where we get like when she's asking where do vendors eat, we sat separately from the party in another room from the party, and I think that experience, it was kind of cool. It was to me, it was okay, but I felt like like I wasn't doing my job. You know, I was sitting somewhere else. I'm like, should I be doing something?
And then it was so quiet, you couldn't hear. What if they like move something up and we're over here
we're
eating?
just sitting down.
Our paranoia kicked in.
Yeah. But I thought that was a nice gesture from that event, and we didn't eat from. Like, we didn't eat the food that was served at the venue. They brought in food for us, and that was cool. And it wasn't just us; it was the whole team. Everybody that was working that was there, man. And it's like it was a nice gesture to do, and I think that would actually work. So, to answer the question of this person, it's like, you know, maybe they could eat somewhere else, have logistically have a place where they can eat, if there's limited seating, right? Trying to find ways, bring in catering, different food, maybe cheaper food. It's okay, or homemade, whatever it is. But as long as you feed these people, it's like people will go a long way. They'll be forever grateful. You know, with that customer, like we said, I'll never forget it. Like, oh, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it builds morale, and it encourages us. Yeah, I mean, not that we're asking for a meal every event, but whatever. It gives us energy because we're tired. We've been working all day. But you said something that I feel a lot of people don't know is, and I feel like a lot of clients might blame themselves for. It's not always the client. It's sometimes the venue.
Yeah.
And I feel and I wish that if you're a vendor owner, at least look into, you know, the works of other vendors. How long do these vendors stay with the client? I don't know, like have consideration of that. If you know that this vendor is per se a photographer, a videographer, whoever, and these vendors are with your client from 8 a.m., whatever, until they're at the venue and they're nonstop, like make them a priority as well as your guests to get them a meal, you know? And then they don't have in mind like the timeline of the event. If your quinceañera or if your bride and your groom are eating at a certain time, then there's things to follow, formalities that need to happen at a certain time. And if we're eating at the end of everybody else is eating, then we're missing it. We're missing the moments that need to be captured because, oh my God, we just got our play after everybody's done, and that's the time that we have to go. So
yeah,
I think that they have
sometimes
to
I wish venue owners. Sometimes I wish they went to other venues to see how they work, how they operate. There's this one venue that it's always on point. They're always asking us, "Hey, have you eaten?" They try to serve us first, like no matter what. And I think that goes a long way. Like to me, like I say, we go to these venues over and over and over and over. So already have bad experiences in a couple of them. I'm like, I know what to expect. There's some ones I don't want to even return. Exactly. I don't want to go back because they're shutting off my microphones and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the where it goes, based off that. We're trying to build a relationship. Like you have to build relationship with other vendors that
that's something that they forget.
They're gonna be reoccurring. This is reoccurring. We're gonna see ourselves every time, every weekend. Like it's not only one time and then we're done. You know, it's reoccurring. So if we build a relationship and I can be able to say, you know what, in this venue, I like how they treat me. I know their house rules. I know what they like, what they don't like. And I kind of go in there like, okay, I got an idea of what I got to do. The last event we did, yes, they asked us if we want to eat, and that was great. They did it for the first time in a long time, but I was working. Like we were doing something. So it's like, okay, we'll eat later once we're done. Yeah. Luckily, we already had prepared and we had ate something before we went to the venue because we already knew what was going to happen anyways, to expect. So we were kind of like, okay. And we did eat and we did compare it. And we said that it was better than last time.
There was improvements. Yeah.
Better than most venues. So it was just that thing. I think that's where it needs to happen. And you as a customer, you have to relay that message to your vendor, like to your wherever you're having your venue. Like you have to, as a customer, I believe you have to relay that message. And if you have to pay extra for these people, just double check if they're gonna eat or not, and then pay for it. You know, be mindful of what goes on, especially like when it comes to photography and videography. It's a full day sometimes. With that, if it's less than 4 hours, I don't think you need to feed them.
Yeah, there's not.
So if they're not going to be there for more than 4 hours, you don't need to feed them. So like the people like the photo booth, people like who else? Who else would it be?
Well, like your florists come in, florists, and come
decorations. Some of those people work early before the venue, so they're working during the day, and then in the afternoon they're not there no more. Yeah. So when the ceremony, the meal with the dinner comes, they ain't gonna be there anyways.
Yeah, it's valid if you're there all.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna be there after the dinner. I mean, that's where you have to consider, hey, these people need to eat so they can finish the event with me. The band, the people that play, the DJ, those are the people that are usually around during the dinner time, and I think they should be fed. As where to be, another room is possible is great, like I said. But I think there was this one occasion that I went on a it was like a 50th birthday, 80th birthday or something like that. And we had our table. We had our own table at this place with a little tag.
Oh, out there in the venue?
In the venue where the tables are with the guests, and there was a table reserved for the photographer and the videographer. And I felt so special. It felt so good. At least, you know, because sometimes we'll sit at a table at the edge and we're taking to somebody's spot. I'm like saying or taking somebody's spot. Hopefully it doesn't get that full, you know? Yeah. But if I start seeing that it gets full, then I move away from that table kind of thing. Just so I don't look bad. Yeah. But I think if you're gonna set up a place, if you know they're gonna be there, give them a table. Like I think that would be even better to organize your event. You know, so your photographer, videographer have a table where to put their gear and where they're gonna eat. Yeah, and they're gonna hang out right there, and then at least at the end of the day, if you need your photographer to do something, you know where they're at.
You know where they're at. Yeah, I mean, and you don't even have to go as far as a table. Just get us some chairs. We don't want to stand
area.
there. Yeah,
there has to be an area.
It could be dark. We just some chairs. You know, a little corner. We don't have to be out there with everybody. It's fine.
Yeah, because for the most part, I hate it. What I hate the most part is we're always next to the DJ, and our equipment's all right there, and there's not an area designated for our equipment, our stuff, and things like that. And so we're just we're kind of in the way. You know, next to the DJ or next to the music or stuff like that, and our stuff is just there, and I'm like, we are in the way. I know it looks bad, but I mean. The venue don't care. Yeah, there's no other spot. Yeah, there's not another spot where to put my stuff. I'm not gonna put my stuff where it can get stolen, lost, damaged. I gotta be where
it needs to be in my eye, my view,
and accessible to me as fast as it can be. Right. So I don't know. These venue really. I think most of the part is the venue. The venue needs to actually work on this.
Incorporate that into your conversation.
Into
your conversation. Okay, when you're asking them about your guests, let me ask you about how many vendors are going to be coming along with you. Yeah. Okay, do you want to feed them? Do you want them to get a plate? Okay, well, how many? Yeah, más o menos, you can figure that out.
And you can put that in the price. People will pay for it. If you tell them, hey, your vendors are going to be fed as well, and it's included in your price. Yeah. There's no point of trying to. It's because I think most people want to save people money. Yeah. This is the thing that I get from my mom. She's trying to sell something to you, and then she's trying to give you a discount too at the same time. She's trying to make you feel good. Yeah. That you're gonna buy this for her.
Be good about your purchase.
Yeah. So I think if the venue does the same thing, they're like, we're $9,000 in, but you know what? I'm gonna give you a $200 discount.
Girl math.
Girl math. And they're just just to get the client sometimes. And like again, instead of focusing on service, focusing on the how it's gonna come, the outcome of your venue, they're just focused on price.
Yep.
How much you're gonna pay, or how much am I gonna charge you? I don't really care about how everything else goes. I just want to know how much you're gonna pay me to do your service and blah blah blah.
Yeah, a lot of the times I feel like vendors forget that other vendors have a vendor list of their own. And if we're going to a venue and things like this, happen constantly, where you're being ignored, you have no chairs, you yourself have to go to the back of their venue and go scavenge through some area and locate some chairs for yourself, like that leaves a bad taste.
Yeah.
So you're not on my list. I already have this bad energy about your venue. So when your client comes to book with you and they say, I'm going to so-and-so venue, you're just like, okay, let me bring my lunch. Let me plan for my lunch. Let me bring my own chair. Let me.
And it's the same thing in multiple occasions. Like that's what actually happens when we ask where it's going to be. We kind of prepare ourselves mentally.
Yeah.
The struggle we're going to go through, because they don't change, or they don't take input as well. Like, I mean, if I was a vendor owner, I think I would want input from the other vendors. Yeah. This place, I'm telling you, this lady calls you the next day. She's like calling you, hey, how did they treat you? Did they feed you? And she's like, you just let them know, hey, this and this happened. And because that she cares about the vendors that are going.
That's something very important too. If you as a vendor owner and you're showing that, like how you are towards other people, to your vendor, to your clients, you're showing them that about you, they're going to uphold that, that part of you. They're going to be that person. When you're not there, they're going to be that. Yeah. So, and then it shouldn't be like, if I'm the owner and I leave, oh, well, I do what I want.
Yeah, my employees do whatever they want.
Because I'm back here. I run the kitchen. Like, no.
Yeah. That's another topic probably, but the venue owners need to be there present, need to be available for the event. Yeah. At least. And because of this.
Educate yourself about your other vendors and just be mindful, because then you can be on our list. You can be on our list.
All right, that's it then. We'll see you guys next time.